Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to another edition of the Ewing Barbecue Podcast, Southfork Experience 2025 series. I think this is episode 8 or 9. That is a mouthful. Try saying that 10 times fast. Today, we have 2 members of the Dallas cast that are going to be joining us there. You might know them as the married couple that had I think it was the second highest rated episode of the 80-81 season.
After Shot JR.
Yes, Miss Lucy Ewing Cooper, Ewing, however many times she got married, Charlene Tilton, and her husband there, Dr. Mitch Cooper. Leigh McCloskey is with us. So welcome. How is everybody today?
Very good. Very good.
Wonderful. Thank you. How are you?
All right. Just it's getting down to the wire here. We're less than a month away. We have
the Southfork Experience.
A few weeks.
Yeah.
Southfork Experience coming August 8th and 9th and 10th at mostly at the air-conditioned Renaissance Richardson Hotel.
Yes.
Well, Southfork is undergoing some renovations in the convention center, I believe.
Okay.
But the cocktail party is going to be at Southfork on that Friday night, and it's going to be a great time. You're going to see some old friends. Susan Howard is the big name that's joining us this time. She doesn't really go out to these events, and I know, Leigh, you said last week that you haven't seen.
Last time I saw Susan, we were in Israel together in 1982 as the cast of Dallas.
Wow.
We went to Israel.
I couldn't go because I was pregnant with Cherish.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was quite a special trip. But yeah, Susan was there and gave us a chance to talk. What a sweet soul. Really,
Yes.
really.
It'll be a real treat to see her and Steve together again after all these years.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Of course, we've got yourself, the two of you. We have the 3 Ds from Ewing Oil. Deb Trinelli, Deb Bernard, and Danon Simpson will be there. And Deb are actually performing on Saturday night at the barbecue.
Well,
So you'll get to get a little concert
Where
from
is
there.
the barbecue taking place? That's at the hotel?
I believe it's in the hotel in one of the big function rooms there.
Okay, great.
So we'll be out of the Texas heat. The air conditioning will be working because you all remember what it was like filming in the middle of summer in Texas, don't you?
Oh, yeah. I still remember the newscasts. We're out here frying eggs on the tarmac. I got thinking, now how hot is it? It was, oh, my.
Oh,
Because when we got there, I think the first year I shot there was a heat wave during the summer. So it was even hotter than normal. But all I remember was either wanting to be in a pool or an air conditioner. I've never wanted to go to a mall in my life, but in Dallas, I enjoyed them immensely. Oh, it was so cool.
That's his
Charlene, you were used. Well, I can't say you ever get used to it, but you were as used to it as you could be since you had been filming down there since '78, and this was now 81, 82, around there.
Yeah, but, we had real hot summers, but it sort of brought us together, and it was fun because at the end of the day, all the crew members would just jump in the pool and cool off, and so.
Oh, we've seen pictures. We've definitely seen pictures. But I mentioned at the start there the second highest rated episode of the 80-81 season after the Who Shot JR. So obviously there was a trend towards trying to do a youth movement here with the two of you and trying to build out a little bit. But what went wrong? Because it just kind of seemed to... Was Lucy always meant to have failed relationships, or was it because by the end of that season, Mitch was you were heading towards divorce court,
Yes,
and Mitch was off to Atlanta, and I know a lot of people when they talked about the seeing your doctor scenes, it was like in a way kind of watching a separate show, like St. Elsewhere Dallas or something like that.
That was the problem. I think we were in a way islanded. We became very, So we were the quintessential figures on the top of the wedding cake. But also, we just never really, I don't think the relationship, because of in a way, Mitch was stuck in a type of 50s mentality, and he really couldn't. I was thinking that if he had made a transition into, in a sense, going with the flow rather than always resisting it, but I always felt that it was to keep, I mean, I don't want to speak for you, Charlene, but to keep your character from, in a sense, landing happily, almost like it was better to have the soap opera struggles of the unhappy couple rather than showing young love and felicity. Because we really did. We had a lot of problems. I remember Lucy, well, walking out a number of times.
And then they threw in Ellen Bry and Patty McCormick into the mix, and it was just kind of messed everything up there. But
Yeah.
I think they should have made Mitch go bad, and it would have been much more interesting. But he was too good. He was, you know, in a sense, he represented the high ground, but in a sense gave it voice more than substance.
Would they have fit better buying one of the houses in the cul-de-sac on Knott's Landing, and because they were more suburban and grounded than the rich trappings of the Ewing family?
I don't know, because the character Mitch was a straight arrow. He was humorless when it came to his values, what mattered to him, and in a way, and as we know, things start to free up in terms of character direction, or they start to freeze up, and then I really think that Mitch kind of froze up. He didn't really make that necessary transition into becoming a very interesting character, which I think the grounds were there, but I just think that, I don't know about you, Charlene, but especially in a soap opera setup, you're basically doing a lot of the same scene so that it references, so that people with all of these different cast members go, oh yeah, they're fighting, they're happy, so you come back and you're pretty much returning to the scene. And, but it is what it is. You learn from everything.
Right.
Well, and I think also with my character, Lucy, starting so young and then maturing, they didn't really know how, what to do with Lucy as well. Is she going to be the wild child, or is she going to grow up and settle down? And I mean, I like the fact that the one thing I did love was when I hired the maid, unbeknownst to Mitch comes home and catches the maid. Oh yeah, honey, I'm just going to be cleaning and cooking all day, and I go back to bed, and the maid. And then that was pretty funny. That's saucy Lucy,
And you need to have the fire department on standby when she cooks beef stroganoff too.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Oh my God.
Explosive event.
Yeah. I tell you though, one of the favorite scenes is when Lucy meets Mitch, and Mitch is parking cars.
Oh yeah.
And Lucy comes out tipsy. She's drunk. And Leonard Katzman had told me, we've got this wonderful actor, Leigh McCloskey, and boy is he handsome. And so, and this gorgeous thing is right there, and Lucy's like, what? And he gets me home safely, my knight in shining armor. And that was I love the way we started off. I thought that was fabulous, and it was beautiful, and it had a lot of promise. And then bringing Mitch to the pool parties and meeting my friends, and then poor Mitch was like, this is too overwhelming, too much, too much money.
And one of those friends was played by Janine Turner in 3 episodes from Northern Exposure, who was in Fanboy Expo.
I was just with her. She is lovely. She is just such a lovely woman and terrific actress.
We should sneak her over to the Southfork Experience.
Oh, I wish. It was so wonderful to see her and Barry Corbin, of course, our sheriff of Dallas. And it was, then they went up to have Northern Exposure together. But I knew when Janine was on the show playing one of my friends, I knew right then. I said to Leonard Katzman, I said, this one, she's special. She's beautiful, and she's talented, and just lovely. And I was not surprised to see her carry on with the career. She was lovely.
Yeah, you had a couple of those on there. A young guy named Brad Pitt was on 4 episodes too. And ironically, Steve ends up catching him in the barn with Priscilla's daughter and reads him the riot act. So I'm like, yeah,
Do as I say, not as I
kettle
do.
black. Oh, do you think that maybe because Gary gave Lucy the voting rights, do you think they missed an opportunity to have Lucy get more involved in the business and kind of be a business vixen in a way?
Absolutely. And even on the they didn't pay any attention to the fact that I really owned a big chunk of Ewing oil. That was just like
you could have been like the Page of Knots Landing over there, kind of just getting in everybody's pot and just stirring all the pots and everything. But you always had some classic one-liners when you come in, like after Sue Ellen shot JR, you offered to steady the gun next time.
Yeah. Sorry, next time I'll have you study the gun. Yeah.
That didn't sit too well with Patrick, but well, Mitch got to punch JR at Afton's nightclub there, so that's taking out some frustrations. Where do you think Lucy is today? What would be her happiness, and do you think she would have ever found it?
I hope so. They sent Lucy off to Europe to open an art gallery or something. So
Liz Taylor's son.
Didn't he end up with Callie? Michael Wilding?
No.
He was a wonderful actor.
Right, yes. And no, I think Callie ended up with a man in Florida played by her real life husband Steve.
Mm-hmm.
in a later episode. And
seriously?
where would seriously, they had Steve, her husband, play. JR tracks her down, and there's Callie with her baby, and the guy she's with happened to be played by her real life husband.
Oh my gosh, how amazing.
And the baby was played by Sharon Sachs, the on-set tutor's daughter, who was a baby.
Oh, I love Sharon.
She turned up at a you were at the dinner the night before in Burbank. Yeah. Sharon was there with Sue Cabral and
makeup artist,
and,
yes.
And Carrie Scott Nara.
Sharon Sachs, her father, Mr. Sachs, was my 4th grade teacher.
Really?
Yep.
This is a small one. And this brings up another thing. I've heard that, was it Dennis Redfield who played Roger Larson, ended up as a drama teacher and was Cherish's teacher at school? Or working at the same school, maybe? Yes,
that my daughter, he was a wonderful actor. He's played the actor who kidnapped me. And they raped me and kidnapped me. And which was fun because I was actually really pregnant during that whole time. So
with one of his future classmates.
Yes.
Students, yes.
And, he became a teacher. Cherish, my daughter, went to a performing arts high school, Hamilton High School in Los Angeles, and he was there. Fabulous, yeah. And then Kathy Podwell came to check out the school and saw my daughter starring in Bye Bye Birdie, and she sent her kids to that school.
And Kathy will be at the Southfork Experience.
I can't wait to see her.
It's going to be quite a lineup. Leigh, you where do you think Mitch would be now? Is he still running the hospital? Burn board,
if I followed the thread of the character, he would be running the hospital, a burn center. He would be probably politically very connected, possibly thinking about running for governor. In other words, he would like to have an effect, and I would think that he would have followed his, in a way, his not holier than thou, but in a way, I know the right way. and he would go on and do it. But I think it's sort of the what do you say, the arrogance of a doctor, not the arrogance of an actor.
Do you think he would have ever succumbed to the temptation of money? Because as he became a successful doctor, then
well, that was the question, because I really had hoped, because he was
Very good question.
moving toward plastic surgery, which would have been the motivation of not working with burn victims or people that were injured, but really more of a vanity or that type of,
Yes.
and that would have been that decision. Are you following sort of that I am here to help, or I'm here to profit? And I do think that would have been a dilemma for him. And in a way, would have chosen the course of his life, because in a way, one would have said, you're entering a game by which the standards are not set by you. The values aren't up to you. It's the system that you're entering, by which you'll be able to have to navigate whether or not you can live with your choices. Because oftentimes people are paid a great deal of money, but at the same time, something in their soul starts to get sucked out of them because they're not doing what their heart said they should do. It's their head.
Lucy's a dingerling if she divorced him.
Twice.
Lucy's a
Twice.
So did we get divorced? Are we we're completely divorced?
My joke was, because I left the show and I had gone upstairs basically saying, I want an answer. Are you coming with me, or are you staying? And now, from my character's point of view, I'm still in the room somewhere, and I really wanted, like 40 years later, for there to be a scene. You'd walk in, I go, well, have you made up your mind? But it just didn't, it didn't pan out that way.
You'd be hiding upstairs.
Yeah, just waiting upstairs for the response, dutifully thinking, well, I know she's back soon.
And you wouldn't be alone in that room. Chuck Cunningham would be up there from Happy Days, the older brother that disappeared too.
I think we have a spinoff here.
I think we do. The Mitch and Lucy show.
I know someone wrote a fan fiction. I don't really subscribe to fan fictions, but they have one where Mitch came back to Dallas, was running the hospital. Lucy remarried and became a volunteer fundraiser at the hospital to do charity work, just to do something noble with herself in her later years. But still never had children. But would Mitch have gotten married or had kids?
What this character, Mitch, definitely would have had kids.
Good.
Yeah.
I think Lucy would have.
And yeah.
Because I think Mitch was very much a traditionalist. I think that was his problem. He wasn't used to the duplicity of JR. He just was not.
Right.
He wasn't game. He didn't get it.
Right.
Or you tell people the truth and they tell you the truth, and it's like, not so, not all the time. So.
Well, how do you know JR's lying? His lips are moving.
Yeah. She wanted that traditional. She wanted that family desperate. She wanted the family unit. She wanted that. So
yeah, and then she comes back.
Oh, sorry. She comes back. Go on.
I was going to say she comes back in 2012, and we don't really know much about what she's doing or where she is. She shows up with Ray. She shows up at the front door with Valine, and then they don't have any scenes between the two of them, or Lucy and Gary, who's at the ranch at the time, and missed opportunities. But
that was bizarre.
But I think
Bobby says Lucy, and then Mom is there, and he goes, "Go get some coffee," and that was our big reunion. Mom and myself. That was just bizarre.
Wow.
And I don't know how much of that was thrown aside because Larry had passed. They had to rewrite things to.
No, Larry was there. Larry hadn't passed yet.
She came in after JR's masterpiece. After the funeral, she showed up because Sue Ellen calls Valine to come get Gary, and Sue Ellen had been drinking and
but right, okay.
Because Joan said she was supposed to be on a few episodes, but that got all mixed up after they had to rewrite for Larry's passing. So there could have been more development there, and we missed a golden opportunity to really do something with that. But
Well, it's an interesting
Um,
thing to think about the life of these characters and what really whether it is a missed opportunity to develop. Because I think that, like with Lucy, with Mitch, that oftentimes writers, and it's interesting with writers because sometimes there's writers that are the show. In other words, they're inside of the characters and you know it. And other times you read it and it's as if the writers are writing the effect of the character. They're not actually inside of the character. They're just creating a circumstance with the person you know as Lucy or as Mitch, but you're not really developing anything.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's very well said.
that's a very interesting take on it.
Very well
Yeah.
said.
Yes.
Well, because that's
Yeah.
and it's noticeable because sometimes I would feel that I was speaking from here, and other times I felt a bit like a mannequin, in a way, because it wasn't coming from the character. It was coming from the effect of the character, if that makes sense. Do you know? So it was. So
Hmm.
that's an interesting thing because I think when people think about these characters and they say, well, where would they have landed, or where would they end up, or what opportunities might have taken them in a different direction, and that's really a very interesting way to look at even life itself. These characters that choice here, choice there, and they end up, and also what they end up representing to people that have loved the show for so long. Like Lucy is such a beloved character.
Oh, you're so
You
sweet.
know,
Did you ever go to? You never went to medical school yourself or anything like that. I mean,
no, but
you're so
can I
smart.
tell you?
When
Funny
he was
thing
always
is,
on the set reading these books this thick. And
oh yes, yeah. I went to a different type of medicine school, which was the more of the esoteric and philosophical. But
right,
no, I've got to tell you a funny story. When we were in Dallas, I was friends with the daughter of the head of the hospital in Dallas, who had actually, where they brought Kennedy after he had been shot.
right.
Well, I was playing Mitch, and I was invited over, and so I'm walking with the doctor, but I've got the white coat on because they put me in the coat. And there was this like, oh my God, he's a real doctor. Look. And I didn't want to
play
correct
one on
them.
TV.
So
I just know that
it's
you're
in
always so
people's memory
smart. So
files. I'm a doctor. What?
you went to Juilliard.
Juilliard, yes.
That's
And-
And you had a famous roommate over
I
there.
did. Yes. Kelsey Grammer was my my roommate that went on to a bit of notoriety, and yes,
And I
Delightful
believe Deb
Kelsey.
Bernard did something with him recently.
What did?
Who played Deb Bernard, who played Sly,
Oh.
just did something with him not too long ago.
oh, good.
Yeah, Kelsey's a great guy. He's always been a great guy, and we've been able to see each other a few times recently, which have been very, very nice. I even gave him a painting of mine, so that was very lovely. And yes, it was quite a class. We had Robin Williams is in the class, and Chris Reeves was the class ahead. Mandy Patemkin, Mary Jo Negro. I mean, it went on and on and on of the people in that point in history that really did go out into the world. William Hurt was there, so I really saw all of my classmates just go off into these marvelous careers, but also the arc of lives where many of them are not with us anymore. So you see the entirety of the arc, not just of their career, but of themselves as human beings. And to know them when they were young is quite special.
And sadly,
How
Robin
did you become
and
an artist?
Chris, yeah.
Because you're such a
My
wonderful-
dad was a painter, and one of the great gifts he gave me was he said, he really would say, when you can't talk about something, paint it. And as an actor, it started at Juilliard. I was watching a calligrapher talk about breath and connection to emotion. And I thought that's what an actor is trying to do. How do you connect with the emotion of the role? And so I started not to be an artist. I started using technique with the material. So I was playing a character at Juilliard where I wanted to kill my father, which I couldn't find. I knew I was acting, and I wanted to find the real fury about where is that. And so I took a big pad of paper and pigment, and I started using my body. I started throwing ink, a bit like Jackson Pollock, really just trying to, because I felt that especially this culture, you get very blocked into the body because we're defensive. So it's hard to let it out. Mm-hmm. And what I found unintentionally was that the way I began was much more like an indigenous shaman or an artist that isn't trying to be a cultural artist and become famous like Picasso, but much more, how do you as a storyteller make sense of the anguish? How do you If something happens, let's say, that is awful, how do you tell a story that isn't about it being awful, but why that story might help others understand their own greater humanity? So for me, it was a way of asking questions. And then no one's more surprised that my art has become what it's become, because I didn't have a conceit that I even was an artist. Dad was the artist, but it gifted me to truly devote my life to asking questions with a brush and a pen that have, quite frankly, become revelatory. On 9/11, 2001, the painting, you can see my studio behind me, but this is called The Hieroglyph of the Human Soul. And it began when I was on my knees at that moment of the collapse on 9/11, saying, if we don't tell a better story, and if we don't begin to honor those we love rather than worrying about what we dislike about the neighbor, then we have no choice but to continue to collapse. And I find it very interesting. I've been working on this for over 8,700 days. If you put on 3D glasses, it becomes multidimensional. It returns us back to the painted cave, first technology, at home or intimate space. And my question is the last question: how do we find our way home? And like a library, how do we do it in a way that includes all of our stories, not just some of them? And that's really why this has transformed me. All of my work on the archetypes of the tarot, I spent 17 years on that from the mid-'80s to the turn of the century. So all of this became my mentor. It became a way of helping me to realize that as actors, as storytellers, as way showers, it's not to explain or to teach, but to inspire. And that's what I love about, like, even the Southfork Experience. It's like people need to feel enthusiastic and engaged. It liberates the heart and it lets you breathe. And I say we don't really need to learn more. We need to unlearn, and we need to oxygenate. It's not enlightenment, it's enlighten up, breathe, have a little. And this is what I always felt like. A lot of my interest in these things really have, I found my years in theater and in film have helped immensely in how do we apply these things that, like mythology or wisdom or, archetype. What does any of this mean? And that's why I find it quite edifying now that I'm 70 to be able to say, well, I devoted my life to asking questions about the nature of the human soul. And I worked hard enough that it actually responded, I think, with art, which is the language of creation. And art doesn't engage us by saying you're wrong. It engages us by saying, are you curious? So that's my work. That's a thumbnail.
That's amazing.
It is. And where can people follow you? And did I see you had a YouTube channel up there too?
I do have a YouTube channel. And my dad was one of the founders of the Malibu Art Association. So I grew up with artists people coming into the house. I was a kid, so I wanted to climb trees. I really wasn't interested in what they were doing as much as I realized it was informing me that what my father was instilling, and my mom as well in a different way, is that imaginative people, creative people, thoughtful people have to get together and inspire each other, not critique each other or find out what's wrong with the world. We all know that. But how do we come together? And this is why I take theater. When you have a healthy group of actors, we seek to inspire each other. Like when Charlene and I are doing a scene together, what we want to do is trigger that which is not Charlene or me, but between both of us, like a dance. Something happens. And we're taken. It's not that we're doing something, we're allowing something. And so these are a lot of what I call the etiquette of energy that I've learned over the years, and why acting has been such a crucial teacher for me about listening, about responding, and allowing and I started to tell people, because people think, oh, well, art, I'm not an artist. And I say, art is not a product. Art is our approach. And this is what I say, that the artist in a human being is that part that says, I don't know, but I'll step into not knowing. And because I'm willing to step into not knowing, I trust that I'll be mentored by this and I will learn from the relationship. The other is stepping into something and saying, I have a predetermined idea and I am going to impose this idea. I will illustrate it. So I just feel that the act of discovery is what acting teaches, what ultimately the story is trying to bring us back to, I think, which is be curious, allow wonder, and remember that enthusiasm often breaks the bonds of depression. And if we're not enthusiastic about something, about a story, that's why I even did the commencement address at Pacific, a graduate institute last year, and my story was, it was simple: optimism, tell the better story. And that's what I try to do on my YouTube channel, which is just offer ideas to say, if we think about these things, maybe we'll give them space, because we keep wanting things to show up, but we don't create place for them. So we have to be curious about the things we want to engage. It's like a relationship. If we're not curious, it doesn't come to us. And I think that's what I'm very much about at this point. Be curious.
And people can put up links at the end. You have YouTube, Facebook, Instagram.
Yeah. And I share the art. I try and share the ideas too, because I do feel an inspired conversation does more to restore a sense of optimism than figuring out why everything's wrong with the world and we should worry all the time.
Yes.
Yeah. And I know sometime we'll be out in California. Maybe we'll come by and show off some of your art and take a tour.
Same thing with you, Charlene. I would really, because it's so.
Charlene, we can go together. We can go together. We can go.
I would love to.
I would love that too. It would love it too. I feel it.
Yeah, I would love that.
And Charlene, you've been, to bring it back to you a little bit here too. You've been picking up some acting roles lately. I just watched last night Final Recovery, which has you, and I call her a scene stealer because every scene she was in, she stole that scene. Cherish was in there.
Yes.
And did she do all that creepy Christmas music?
Yes, she did all the music and the singing. All the music in the movie is hers. Yeah.
Okay, because now I hear those songs and I'm thinking something's going to happen here. Okay, something's going down.
Yeah,
you want to talk about
the music?
You want to talk about the movie and how that came about? And I watched it and I think I would rather go see Nurse Ratched than Nanny Lou.
Well, Nanny Lou is scary. I don't like horror movies. I can't watch Saw or Chucky or any of those. I just can't. And
Me too.
But this one came, and it's a horror thriller, and the script was interesting. My character runs a drug rehabilitation center, and it is not a Christmas movie, but it takes place over the Christmas holidays. So, like I said, it was a low-budget movie, but I like the character, and we see as she descends into darkness and this evil. But there's a reason that she became so twisted and evil.
And you have to watch the movie to find out that reason, people.
Yes. And but because it takes so I brought all these sweet Christmas sweaters to wear in the movie with little snowmen and
I noticed that, yes. I'm not going to look at them the same way ever again now.
and my coffee, my little teacup that said joy across it. So it says she teaches crochet. So I had somebody make me a crochet Christmas tree where I could hide the drugs in and Santa Claus. I mean, I brought all this to the set. But it's a low budget movie, but I am just overwhelmed and I'm amazed at the reviews. Thank you for saying Nurse Ratched, and
Nurse Ratched could take a few lessons from her.
I know, and Kathy Bates in Misery,
Wow.
How would Nanny Lou and Mitch Cooper do together? We have the plastic surgeon, and then this lady here. So,
but it's a thriller horror movie, but it's got a story. So I liked it. So anyway, right. I stepped out of my comfort zone and did that, and that was fun. And I just did a movie called Win Place Love in Kentucky that takes place around the Kentucky Derby. I'm a manager of a horse farm that houses these wonderful thoroughbred racehorses, and we were filming during the Kentucky Derby. And
Wow.
Haley Duff directed it, and boy, is she something else. Wow, she's amazing as a director. So that was
It's nice to
fantastic.
see when actors can move into directing because they have the experience in front of the camera that they can take behind the camera with
I've
them
never
too.
had any. I like producing, but never had any desire to direct. But
Mm.
so it's directing. Yeah, that's a special calling, I think.
Special
I love
calling,
the
and
producing part of it, though. I've produced some things, and I'm great at putting the pieces together, but not directing.
right.
But yeah,
Yeah.
but thank you for the kind words
Lee,
on the final
oh,
recording.
absolutely. And go watch it. It's on Tubi, which is free, and if you do it on Amazon Prime, you do have to buy or rent it. So I'm just kind of
It's
giving
worth
you
it.
some options there. It is worth it, yes. I
We have to watch you turn evil. This will be
yes.
revelatory. This is the
It's
All those years being beaten down by JR and the Ewing family, and
yeah.
she
No,
turns evil.
I think that's good. And also congratulations. I think that big congratulations. That's great. It's also
Yes.
great to step out of your comfort zone. I'm really
You're
honored that
so
you.
well. Thank you. I
But
appreciate that. You know, though, I've always felt that I always felt like it was going to be in my later years that I was going to have more opportunity. I always saw myself as a character actress. Anyway,
Yeah,
I
makes
did.
sense.
I just, I loved like Helen Hayes and Ruth Gordon and people. I don't know people and just character actors. I always saw myself stepping into that, and
Uh,
so
I
as I'm
think it's
getting older, it's fun.
well, it gives
should
you
we bring
gravitas.
our should we
You
bring
know,
our Christmas sweaters to have you sign?
Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah, with a red pen.
Yeah,
But
Yes.
uh, yeah, I don't know. I think that's very extraordinary, though. This looking at career as not based in what you're doing next, but really almost like points of maturity. That's why I would say that I'm probably the best actor I've ever been in my life at this point in my life, simply because you really, in a way, learn what you don't need to be concerned about, to let go of. I did a film called Dresden's Son about a year ago with a director, a friend of mine that I've known, and and I told him, I said, I said, what's very strange, Michael, I said, I was the youngest guy on the set for so long,
yeah,
and you were too.
yeah.
And it was interesting to be the oldest person on the set. On this other end, I went, wow, okay. But also, though, it frees you because you see the arc not as a personal journey, but the journey of the artist, of the actor. And you start to look at how other actors, it makes you very aware, almost like of being helpful in the way of relaxing on being overly concerned about certain things you have no control over, and really starting to emphasize what is it that keeps your creative sanity, that creates a sense of self-value. Because one of the most challenging things for an actor's life is self-worth, the sense of
Yeah.
continuing, because you're continually meeting resistance or ways of being seen or way. And so it's that question of endurance. And that's why, going back to what you're saying, Charlene, I really feel that having to endure does bring out a deeper soul significance to the actor. Meaning, because sometimes people have facility when they're young, but as they mature, I think, like anything, it becomes more and more um, uh, a quality, in a sense, an inherent talent rather than an applied one, because it's really, it's gestated, it's formed, and it really is like a blossom wanting to open.
Yes, I like that. You said that young people have a facility. When we were working on Dallas, and I know that Josh knows this, but it was a very bizarre time in my life. I was taking care of my mom at the same time, who was severely mentally ill and in and out of different mental institutions, and um,
Wow.
it was really tough.
Yeah.
Be on the set, there were no cell phones, but I'd get a call. Remember we had the phone on the set, Lee. They just
Yeah.
a phone call, and we'd be in a scene in between scenes, and I'd get on, and your mom is running up and down Gower Street naked, and I'm like, we've got to
Wow.
put her away. We can't. There was no I wasn't, there was no way I could put a hold on. I could get a 48-hour hold, but then they'd release her because she wasn't harmful to herself or somebody else. And I said,
Wow.
it was a tough time dealing with all that.
And you were also young. I mean, you were how old? You were very young
Yeah, I
to
was
be
17
dealing with
when I
all of
started
that.
the show, but it
You're
was a
dealing with a
lot.
professional acting career, dealing with a mother that is mental health
Yeah, it was.
explosion. That's so much on your plate.
I
That's
don't even,
And
I look back now and it's really just the grace of God that I even got through it. But at the
yeah.
same time, Dallas probably, you just said, somehow you find your sanity in playing these characters, and it was such a great escape for me to get into this other world and become this other character, and it you
it,
know,
it
Yeah, you
reminds
were
me.
yeah. Go on, Josh.
It reminds me of Lee. You talked about going to school with Mandy Patinkin, and one of his roles was on Chicago Hope, where he played the surgeon that was completely insane outside of the operating room because his wife had drowned their child. And
Wow.
the only place he found sanity was as a
Opera.
surgeon in
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
operating room.
Yeah.
It just reminded me of that in a way. But
Yeah.
Charlene, you got obviously your childhood got in a way taken away because you had to care for your mother and you didn't
yeah,
get to have some of the normalcy of growing up and stuff like that. So getting on the set obviously did help ground you and
it
give
did.
you a place to
It was
be.
a grounding experience because I was living in my own apartment when I got the part of Dallas, and on Hollywood Boulevard, and the neighbors cut out a star out of tinfoil and put it on my front door, and
That's
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
yeah.
But and here we are now coming back together all these years later. What is it that keeps bringing everybody back? Did you think when you took this role, either of you, that 47 so years later, people would be coming to these conventions to see you all and reruns and podcasts or just
well,
what?
some of the Dallas cast was just at Fanboy Expo, and Lee, you saw it in Los Angeles, and you will see it at the Southfork Experience in Dallas, August 8th, 9th, and 10th, because these people, the show started airing again during the pandemic on Amazon, and um, Patrick, Linda, and I were in Germany, and there were like 50,000 people, and people that were younger than I when I started the show are huge fans and coming up and just crying, and people that they discover it for the first time, and people that have discovered had rewatched the show. I have not seen every episode of Dallas. I haven't seen a single episode when they brought my character back. I've never seen any of those. So
And
after,
Andrew Stevens is joining us too.
pardon me,
Andrew Stevens will be there. Casey Denault.
I never saw any of those episodes. So, but as
I'm
I
glad
said,
it's not just me. Yeah, that's good.
but it's people love it. When it was released on DVD, I said to Larry, "Can you believe this?" He goes, "Little Niecy," he goes, "good writing, good acting, and it stands the test of time." Patrick Duffy articulates it very well, but there is a timeless quality, even though you know uh, fashions change and things change, but there's a timeless quality to the show, and boy, it is the performances all around are extraordinary. So
And we are going to have quite the lineup. You were talking about Christopher Atkins is going to be there. I'm just scrolling through here. Steve uh,
Steve Keneally,
Steve Canale. Obviously, Linda and Patrick are going to be there. The three Ds, Deborah Nard, Jesse Metcalf and Josh Henderson. Jenny Lee Harrison is coming with. She's bringing actually David Haynen, the organizer, is trying to slip in a couple of sideshows off
we have
of
like
there,
three
and
celebrities.
she is
Fabulous.
bringing Joyce DeWitt and Priscilla Barnes,
Fabulous.
Oh, Priscilla Barnes. I
And
did Black Magic with her in 80 something. So,
I had a crush on Nurse Terry on Three's Company, but and your mama Joan Van Ark is coming with Donna Mills and Michelle Lee from Knots Landing as well. So
Great.
it's going to be quite the lineup there, and you have all the Morgan Fairchild's coming back, Barry Corbin.
Morgan will be there as well?
Morgan will be there.
Oh, fantastic.
Andrew Stevens, Amy Stock, who played Lisa Alden. You had left at that point.
Right.
There's really just a lot of Kathy Podwell. There are a lot of combined photo ops. We have you and Steve, hopefully not in a hayloft or anything like that, but call me her name. I almost got you two in trouble on the stage there. William Keck, who's doing the panels again, he had to bring me up and say that I asked you to do the call me her name, and I think you could see me up in the balcony there, and I think you gave me a look. But and William has a great book out called "When You Step Upon a Star." I don't know if you've heard about that and read it. I'm in the middle of reading it now. It's a great read. He'll be doing the panels. There are tons of photo ops, and I got to get into some of these this year. Hopefully, there. But the schedule that weekend is going to be. I've gone over ad nauseum the entire ticketing experience, but if we just scroll through the events, Friday you have.
It's confusing to me. I know you could buy a VIP package to get you into the cocktail party. It's just it's a small event with all the stars, and you really get to spend time with all the cast members. It's a wonderful opportunity to really get one-on-one time with everybody, and then. The next day, it's the autographs, the photographs, photo opportunities. Right. We do the Q&A panels. I mean, it's a fabulous, wonderful experience, and you really get to spend time with each other, the fans. And Leigh, I hope I get to spend some time with you and your beautiful wife, Carla. Because the last time we were in Los Angeles together, we were sitting next to each other, but we didn't get to spend any time. So I'm hoping
and I remember that I'm running around trying to get all these photos of all of you in different combinations together, and I had to drag you over to see Joan before she left and get the photo together. And there's going to be the Ewing Barbecue, which like last year, the VIPs will have cast members at their tables, and
that was so much fun.
The live band, Gary Patrick and his band, and their performances by Deb Bernard and Deborah Trinelli.
Okay.
They have different panels. Friday is a VIP autograph session with the cast and the Three's Company cast. Photo ops Friday, and then the Dallas panel featuring Linda Patrick, Jesse Metcalf, and Josh Henderson. And
the Dallas reunion or the Dallas reboot.
Mm-hmm. Right, reboot, continuation, whatever you want to call it. There's a silent auction benefiting Cherie Wilson's Yellow Rose Gala Foundation this year.
Oh, there is fabulous. Okay, great.
Yes, and there's a brunch on Sunday. James Yarnell is going to be there too, doing some set pieces.
He is so talented.
And we had him on with Cherie Allen and Alan Catan, who is friends of Kathy Podwell. We had them all on for a tribute to Michael Priest, who passed away. Do you have thoughts on Michael Priest? I'd be remiss if I didn't bring him up.
Everyone.
Just memories of Michael.
Yeah, everyone loved Michael.
Michael Priest. Everyone loved him. Yeah,
he was an extraordinary man.
Yeah.
A kind heart.
Wonderful. Yeah, we had him on in 2023, and up until now, that episode has been in our Patreon area, so the public has not been able to view it, but I'm reworking that so I can get it posted to YouTube so people can hear what Michael has to say and just his stories. And fascinating man, truly a wonderful person. But that's going to be the coming up just in a few weeks. So I know, Leigh, you're excited. We're glad we got you on board this year.
I am so excited.
Yeah.
The family will love it. We'll
Yeah,
have
And there's a great Italian restaurant across from the hotel. We know about that, Charlene.
yeah.
The some great Italian food right across the way there that you can go to. If you haven't gotten your tickets, they're at southforkexperience.com. Do you have messages for the fans before we wrap up?
Well,
We're
I was going to
just about
say
pushing
that
the.
I'm very excited about meeting down there and seeing Charlene and everyone as well, because I do feel like the rarity of the show and the longevity of it is a fascinating thing about all of us. Really, we've been together, we've known each other, and these opportunities where we see each other, and it really is, we pick up where we left off, so to speak. We know each other, so it's a rather marvelous, just for all the way around, for people that love the show, for people that make the effort to show up and join us, but also for all of the cast members and people that are going to get together down there. I just feel it's a very special opportunity, a rare opportunity with rare people that I certainly am delighted to be able to spend some time with, and especially you, Charlene. I look forward to spending more time and being able to, it's been a good life.
We're blessed.
Really
I
has.
can't wait to see everybody. Lots of love and blessings to you all.
And Leigh, I would be remiss if I didn't bring this up, because Mary, one of the other co-hosts, we all know Mary from the podcast. She was a huge Santa Barbara fan. So, do you have memories of Santa Barbara and just what the difference is for people to educate them on the difference between being on a daytime show and a primetime soap opera? Just
the daytime allowed for greater character development because it was every day. The nighttime version, as I said, there's a lot of repetition because you're coming back once a week to the characters, so they're bringing back the dialogue. But when I was on Santa Barbara, I played two characters. I played back-to-back characters. I played their Zach Kelton. I was a rapist gynecologist, raped Eden, stole and kidnapped the baby, fell off a cliff, telling A. Martinez, who I absolutely love and is a truly noble human being, that he says, "Where's my baby?" And I said, because Jill said, you're going to ask for apology. I said, no, the way I look, I'm going to say, "Go to hell," as I fall off the cliff. and
talk about a cliffhanger.
That'll make everyone hate me. I mean, absolutely hate me. I said, the last thing I want is a vestige of sympathy for this guy. But then Jill said, you pulled that off. And if you could do that, you can do anything. So 6 weeks later, I came back as Ethan Asher, the district attorney, and I had dyed my hair. Hopefully it was blonde, but it was kind of Nazi orange, that kind of like, and I had glasses, and I still remember one of the actors looking at me going, "Oh, that's going to fool them."
Like Clark Kent with his glasses.
Completely unrelated. Same thing on Just Dr. Baranski. I dance with every woman on the show. I leave for a year, and I come back as Damian Smith. There's gangsters. So I just found the one thing about the medium was it was flexible. I really had that feeling it was a repertory theater company. Now you're the villain. Now you're the good guy. Now you're going to go crazy. And because it was doing every day, it was really rather fun because it was like having a workout. And for some of the characters, it was really the opportunity to go and play my opposite. Everything that Damian Smith valued, I would find completely reprehensible, and vice versa. So I got to step into this mind that taught me it's not whether it's right or wrong, it's whether it's effective, which I still have that element.
Awesome. I love that.
Well, this hour's gone by fast. It's been great, and I think sure you agree. We can't wait to see everybody down there. The Ewing Barbecue Podcast will be on site. We'll be filming all the panels and the concert and going around hopefully we'll be able to stop by some tables and just get little sound bites from everybody and just about the experience and interview the fans and see what they love about it. And we're really looking forward to seeing you there. So stay tuned. I know we've got We've got Josh Henderson, I believe, coming on next week, as he was having a little adventure getting back from Knoxville this week. And now he's off to Los Angeles to work on some projects this coming week, and we'll catch him next week. And before you know it, we will all be down there at Southfork. So stay tuned, and y'all come back now, you hear?
Oh,